Hold on, this is an issue. While expanding over on the island, we need to ensure its supplies. The service points I placed in our industrial area are already at 70% capacity, while just 1/3 of the commercial area on the island is done. So, we need more service points. And as I also want to reach the 10k industrial zones mark, someone to unlock a certain unique building legit, we will have to expand our industry again. But this time I want to do something more practical and way simpler to set up, because we know already how this massive industrial area was done from past episodes. So why not pick up the concept of creating pockets of industry in our city and how to interconnect them? Actually, is that a good idea? I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? Hello peeps, Struggle here. Welcome to kind of a side project which leads us astray from the island to the topic of a decentralized, interconnected industry. I was looking around on the map for a new spot for our additional industry and figured let's set this up next to the airport. Now here's the thing, the commercial zone on the island will be pretty big and I'm planning to complete that build in the next episode. So looking at the demand meter, it is good we are building some industry now to meet jobs demands. Pause the game because we will make lots of changes and as long as they are not complete, the city might run into issues. Our new industry area will need some warehouses. If you don't have the industries DLC, don't worry about it. They are storage buildings which always attract the material they were set up for and thus provide a better control of where stuff is going. Also, I love using recycling centers throughout the city because not only are they a very low polluting alternative to vanilla garbage collection, but they also generate a little bit of refined materials which our new industry area will then convert into goods to be sold by our commercial zones. Now hopefully you also remember the shortest route thing the AI does when it comes to distributing a resource. This will cause our new warehouses to attract the recycled goods from the recycling centers closer to our new warehouses than our old industry area, which not only means we will have to compensate for that by adding more refinement buildings in our processing area, but this also means that our new warehouses need a fast and reliable way to send the collected resources back into our old industry area. Which brings us to the topic of how to connect a cargo railway station in order to guarantee maximum throughput. If you have not figured it out yet, the bottleneck is the speed at which trucks returning to the facility are processed. So, compared to the regular placement against the road where the trucks have to perform a 90-degree turn to enter the station, which slows them down so drastically, I use some kinda illegal road placement using my mods also for aesthetics and traffic controller to increase the truck's travel speed into the station to really shove them in there. Please note the actual entry and exit points are actually slightly off the blue arrow indicator, so yeah, the Move It mod is your friend again. But regarding vanilla, just giving them any road connection either with a V-shape or a regular road just pointing at the station will also work wonders in that regard. The next step would be adding the service points to supply the island. I want to couple them with the cargo station because part of the traffic the station will create is going to be heading for these service points, and from the industry's perspective it will serve as one big deliver stuff there thing. Consider this in contrast to the old industry where pretty much every destination is hooked up to every possible traffic source. Now I have this guideline regarding rail tracks to not exceed 2% angulation because we are building railways, not roller coasters. This means our tracks will need some distance to sink into the ground. To shorten the distance, I rather have the entire station as a sunken about 6 meters, meaning half the height between surface and tunneling, which has the distinct advantage that you can easily go below or above other roads when your base level is right in between. Since I consider the warehouses to have a lesser impact on traffic, I decided to couple them with other services our industry requires to grow properly. As you can see, most important on this list from the wiki is the fire department, which is why I placed it closest to the future industry entrance. In general, we want all of these services in close proximity, but some of those, like desk care and garbage collection, have quite a range, so they can go on the other side of the road. Also note that the postal service was not mentioned on the list, but I have found it to have quite the impact on industry. Now regarding the size of our industrial zone, I suggest we keep it at adaptable, which is why I opted for such a U-shape. We could easily expand or shrink it, moving this connection piece. Through our coupling, we only need to connect our station couple and the industry to our city, which after some fiddling looks like this now. So I did add all the walk and bikeability, a metro station, and also interconnected the industry with the station, so they don't have to go through this junction. What we still need to do though is to connect our new cargo station to the rail network. I figured we could use the first loop of the rail tracks leading up to the cargo station at the airport to connect there, then going straight pretty much below every future metro expansion before doing a wide arc turn. All this then in the hopes of having created enough track so this long segment would not require a loop to cover for the height difference. Our new industrial area is now connected to the airport freight station and it can receive cargo trains from the old industrial area. Now, because of the shortest route thing, the next thing on our to-do list would be to also let it supply the city with its generated goods. Here we need to establish a connection when coming from the new industry to the 3 stations attached to these tracks in the city. Even though this looks like a railway triangle, the guideline of leaving at least 1 train length between junctions does not apply here because everything above this line does not lead back on the tracks. I decided the area requires a bit more work also in preparation for the future before we can move on to our next point of interest. Okay, here we have to ensure our new industry is able to deliver its refined materials from the warehouses to the station. And also we need to make the connection that allows our new industry to send trains into the city over the bridge. This station still needs to be able to send its goods into the city through the junction we already fixed, as well as over the bridge here. And we must not forget that it also needs to be able to export and make deliveries to other parts of the industry, including our new one. This turned out to involve a lot of fiddling, not only because of getting the angulations right, but also because I forgot to implement the at least 1 train has to fit between junctions rule. Gladly, these are again one-way tracks, so it does not apply for this triangle, but then I had to redo all the angulations again. While cleaning up off camera, I noticed that the tracks on this junction did not connect for some reason, so I had to redo this entire part to make them work. The only thing we need to do on our next stop is to turn these one-way track pieces into bidirectional pieces. Then our new industry, or better to say the warehouses, can deliver their refined materials into our old industry area, as this section allows access to all the stations there. Okay, I think the game should be able to run again, so let us watch the new industry grow. I did put an industry building down there to seed the growth, which I then deleted as soon as others started to grow on themselves. Please note I just zoned half of the space we reserved because in order to make this work we actually have to build up the island. Because we want those 4 service points to order enough of the local production that our train station does not become overwhelmed by having to export everything. And also you probably noted the tram loop there and the temporary road connection for our new industry. I want to revisit the area in the near future to turn this plateau into a lovely suburban housing area. Probably doing that in the next live stream. But for now, let's watch this grow and then we need to make some tweaks regarding our raw materials production after the time lapse.
Hide and seek, reason and rhyme, grand and glorious. Living the dream, yours and mine, euphoria. Hide and seek, reason and rhyme, grand and glorious. Living the dream, yours and
Okay, so I just plopped some new solar collectors down here to solve our energy crisis, and then I let the game run for a few hours and watched. Spoiler alert, the city is still standing, but there are some issues. A real mistake was this railway junction, as it is able to clock up now just by 2 trains, one wanting to go that way and the other that way. So at least we have to turn these track pieces into mere outbound pieces again. But I'm thinking, how could we still allow deliveries from our new warehouses onto these tracks? We do not need these redundant tracks, and after them being removed, we could branch off here and then cut a second connection section leading into the area through those tracks using one-way tracks again. That should work. I'll keep an eye on it. Now, on to the question if it was a good idea. Well, comparing the efficiency per station used, our new area is lacking a bit. But this has mostly to do with the pedestrian area service points because they attract a load of traffic from the other industrial zone. So there are a lot of trucks spawning at the station, which also of course queue again into it after they are done, which heavily limits the available capacity. So combining industry with the service points was a bad idea. Let's fix that by moving our service points elsewhere. For example, utilizing the space below the highway here. I love this spot, for there is enough space for even more. And this actually gives the airport station a real purpose besides the mail sorting facility. But I'm not done with this round of changes yet, as the coupling of the warehouses with the services turned out to cause some really heavy traffic. So I decided to switch them over to where the service points were earlier, but not only that, because you see, we want the warehouses traffic from out of the area to pass through here without interfering with the traffic for the station too much. So I also decided to switch the connections of the industry and the city around in order for the warehouse traffic to be able to pass by the station on the left lane when returning to where they came from. While prettying all this up, I thought, if they would produce a little bit of refined farming materials locally, there would be even less train traffic coming up here. So yeah, that tiny corner should help keeping our warehouse filled. Now, with all these changes in place, we should let the game settle down again, which I actually want to use to show you guys on how I am doing the zoning for extraction and refinement before giving you an estimate whether a centralized solution or a decentralized industry is superior. The thing here is, what really sells well, even when exported, are finished goods. All the other stuff hardly makes a profit. We start with the extracted materials. Open the imports-exports panel and then check whether all of the first storage buildings in our chain are exporting. If yes, do nothing. If no, add a single extraction building of that kind. This could be enough or not. You always just add a single building because the stuff could be imported, so no issues there. And if the building is exporting, you are most likely just one building over production demand. Should the single building not bring you on par with demand, well, you are going to repeat this entire method after your next build. So it will slowly but surely get to the point when you are with just one building overproducing. Well, we are not gonna touch on farming for now because of the additional thing we did over at the new area. That was easy. It gets a bit more complicated with the refined stuff. Sorry, I cannot really offer an alternative for people playing without the Industries DLC. You really have to monitor stuff on the roads and this panel to figure out what's going on in your city. If you want the DLC now dearly, I have affiliate links in the description for affordable Steam keys. Using them would also help me out. So for refinement, we are checking the imports of refined materials. If a few of them are importing, then we can zone one more building. Now, to make sure we zoned enough, we need to check on the corresponding special material storage building, for they cannot be imported. And the generic industry is going to tap into those special goods if the zoned refined materials are not supplied sufficiently. Okay, forestry is a bit on the low end, and we zoned one more refinement building. And a lot of industry over at the airport. Yeah, let's give it another one. Now, which is better, centralized or decentralized? First of all, it really depends on your city and as you want to play the game. Can't stress that enough, there is no right or wrong in a city builder. Everyone loves their cities. But For my evaluation, I want to know how much tax-paying industry do I get for a train station, because those are pretty expensive to maintain. So we are looking straight down now. There is a station, quay, 2 roads with industry, and everything fills the screen, right? So let's take the exact same shot from the new area and then compare. Notice the only sharp thing in this shot is the station, so they are both totally aligned on top of each other. So we are looking at both areas from the same distance. I'd say the centralized version is about half the size bigger, but what can I say? I'm satisfied. What I also noticed is that there is quite a train traffic in between the areas. Actually, I had to revert the changes to this railway layout because they started to use half-empty trains to transport stuff between all the stations in the old area, which actually really slowed down deliveries into the city. So they have this extensive road network and I want them to use this instead. Now just imagine you had multiple pockets of industry. The traffic in between them would really impact efficiency then. And don't get me started on those people which claim to do all this by roads. I mean, sure, that is an option, but then you'd have to pull multiple highways through such an area and totally ruin the building density, which is actually what gets you the big bang for the buck. Then of course I had to clean up lots of buggy trucks going in and out of the stations. Thanks Colossal Order for that fix. God damn it, I'd love to work with professionals just once. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget the thumbs up on the way out, and we are going to see us next time, eventually when I'm streaming the suburban build. Thanks for watching. Bye.